What if I told you that staying quiet in a meeting is not humble? It's actually being selfish. I worked with a client who was terrified of speaking because she didn't want to steal the spotlight. She thought silence was the safe way. But I told her the actual truth. You know what? By staying quiet, you're robbing the room of your brilliance. You're withholding the solution. And when she realized that silence was actually selfish, everything changed for her. See, this client on paper was a total superstar. She had the results, experience, the title, but every time she walked into her boardroom with her upper management, she told me she felt like a fly on the wall. And she believed a lie that I think many of us, especially Latinas and high achievers, believe. And it is that respect means waiting for your turn. She looked at her boss and thought, he has authority. He has the knowledge. I'm just here to learn. And you know what? She stayed quiet. She was terrified of saying the wrong thing. You know that feeling when you're terrified of disrupting the hierarchy and terrified of being judged? And you want to know the result? She wasn't seen as respectful. She was evaluated as shy, lacking strategy, and frankly invisible. She was the best kept secret in her company, and it was stalling her career. If you have ever felt ignored in a meeting despite being the smartest person in the room, or if you feel like you have to choose between being respectful and being powerful, this video, my friend, is for you. And I'm going to share with you the exact inclusive presence framework that I used to help the client to go from shy to top performer in just a few months without faking it and definitely seeing burnout. Hola, I'm Jennie Lopez. I spent 23 years as a Fortune 500 executive leading teams in manufacturing, quality, business, HR. I've seen firsthand how the old school command and control leadership style burns people out. And my mission is to help high achievers like you launch your next boldest chapter, yet by building an authentic personal brand. And if you're ready to lead with clarity and confidence, hit that subscribe button and let's dive in. Step number one is the diagnose. Now, let's get real for a second. Why do we shrink in these high stakes meetings? For many of us, it comes down to our shared values of respect and hierarchy. We are taught that the boss is up there and we are down here. And here's the truth that I told my client, and I'm telling you right now, in the corporate world, silence is not interpreted as respect. It is interpreted as lack of value and potential. See, my client thought that she was being polite. Her leadership thought that she had no strategy, no potential. That disconnect is exactly where imposter syndrome breeds. She felt small because she was making herself feel small. So number two, the audit. Now you're probably thinking, but Jennie, how do I fix it? I didn't tell her to fake it till she made it, okay? Because that leads to burnout. Instead, what we did is that we worked on an audit. I asked her, what are you good at? And this is where I go in a lot of depth about the superpowers. See, at first, she tried to compare herself with her boss and her boss's bosses. She said, well, he's great at negotiation and I'm not, and he's great at this and I'm not. Like, stop. I don't care about him. What is your superpower? So we dug deep and we found it. It was her infectious energy. She was the person who could walk into a drained team, you know, one of those like boring teams, and get them excited about delivering results. She connected dots between people better than anybody. So here's your first action. Stop trying to copy the command and control style of your boss if that is not you. Identify the one thing that you do effortlessly. Is it empathy, data analysis, project management? For my client, it was energy, and that is not a soft skill. That is your anchor. And when you walk into a room, you are not just walking in as you're an employee, you're walking as a carrier of that energy. So step 3 is the reframe. Now, let's talk about how to intentionally using your voice. My client was afraid of speaking up because she didn't want to make it about her. She didn't want to show off. So we reframed it. I told her, owning your voice is not about bringing attention to you, but it's about bringing value to the outcome, to the result. If you have a really cool idea that could save the company money and you stay quiet because you're humble, you're actually being selfish. You are withholding the solution. So if you're nervous to speak up, use the script. Instead of waiting for a perfect pause, lean in and say, building on what, you can say a name, right? He or she just said, I see a dot that we haven't connected yet. See, that It's not being you being aggressive, but you being inclusive. You're validating them, building on what you said, and then adding authority. I see a dot, 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 dot. And finally, we have to fix the body language. My client had a habit when she saw her boss's boss, she will physically shrink, like head down, looking at her notebook. And we created a micro habit. I want you to try this right now. Every time you walk into an intimidating room, do this checklist. Shoulders up and back, chin up, smile, and then ask yourself this one question. How can I bring my energy to lift the vibe of this room? My client started doing this and she stopped assessing her boss's mood in fear and started assessing the room's energy as a leader. And she went from surviving the meeting to elevating the meeting. The change was incredible. Her boss's boss noticed. He literally said, hey, I don't know what changed, but she's showing up very differently. And she went from being the shy girl to a top performer, taking on cross-functional responsibilities, and the best part, no burnout. Because it takes way less energy to be your authentic self than it does to pretend to be somebody else. If you're ready to stop being the best kept secret and build a personal brand that does the work for you, subscribe to this channel. And if you want to know more about how to find that superpower we talked about, I have the perfect gift for you. Make sure that you go to the description to the link to learn more. Let's find that zone of genius of yours. I'm Jennie Lopez, reminding you to launch your boldest chapter. Bye.